Hey guys, happy Tuesday and welcome to my tea time. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to talk today about the question and just asking you guys, when was the last time you asked yourselves, what do I want to do? And it's such a big question that is so important in our lives, and we don't ask it enough. So I wanted to just ask that and see what comes up through this tea time and through this conversation. So much love. Thank you for joining me and thank you for watching. I totally appreciate it. So yeah, going back, when was the last time you asked yourself, what do I want to do? And this question popped up this week again. And coming back from New Mexico, I got on this energy and on this vibe of being on the go and just being busy, like here at home, doing things around the house, hanging out with my friends, and just being in those like summer vibes of social gatherings, I guess. And also, like, I've been tired, and I realized this week that one, I started the week being super tired, and one, I was starting to get super irritated. Hey, Tala! So I realized that I was starting to get super irritated and frustrated and super snappy. And I realized that I was also starting to get into this space of regret and of sadness. So, Tala, thank you for joining. The question that I'm asking, or this tea time, is when was the last time that you asked yourself what you want to do? I have been really run down to. Awesome. So this is okay, so so I want to tell you, like, hey, like, ask yourself, like, what is it that you want to do, and do it. This is going to be the theme for today and whatever else arises. But yeah, so like I was sharing, like, I came back from New Mexico being in that space of like the go energy, and again, being busy at home, like getting together with friends, and it's still something that I wanted to do, but I have been also wanting to hang out by myself and do my own thing and work on some of my projects that I have been wanting to work on for a while, and I wasn't doing it. So yeah, so this week I started the week being super tired, and I was starting to get snappy and frustrated, and again, being in that space of regret, and regret of like moving back and remembering the space that I was in while living abroad. And yeah, and I didn't see it right away when I was in that space, but it just clicked, like, oh, I'm not asking myself what I want to do, or oh, like, I'm not doing what else I want to do. So yeah, so I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I have been wanting to work, so I'm currently writing a book about the vibrant unknown, and I have been wanting to work on that for a while now, and I haven't been, and I really wanted to just be and hang out by myself. Like, I love hanging out by myself. I love, like, exploring my own mind. I love journaling. I love reflecting on where I'm at, and just the things that have happened during the day or like the week, and just really, like, again, like, reflecting and being in that space, and I have not been doing that at all. So yesterday, I also love exploring, even if it's just like a different coffee shop or a different beach, or exploring the different teas, just like little things like that. So yesterday, I ended up going to Seal Beach and exploring a different coffee shop and hanging out by myself, hanging out with me, myself, and I. And it felt so good. And it felt like I was recharging. It felt like I was grounding myself, like I was aligning myself, and being in the coffee vibe space. Like, I got this new tea that looked really good. It was like a lavender honey tea, and just tasting that, like, writing in my journal. There was like the sun was out, reflecting into the window near the beach, and it so happened that there was also live music going on, and I love live music. I love being in that space with music. So it just yeah, like I said, it felt so good. And yesterday it was funny. So I was like just pondering on this whole concept, right? And I was realizing how, you know how there's some people who get hangry? I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of that term, where they don't eat or they haven't ate and they get irritated, they get frustrated, they get snappy. I was like, oh, that's me when I don't have my alone time. That's me when I don't have my solitude time, or when I don't hang out by myself. So I thought that was kind of funny and silly in a way, but it totally made sense to me. So, hey. So, yeah, so I was just reflecting on that yesterday and just pondering on even this, like learning more about myself and how I need that time at least once a week, or like in the evenings, like where I just step away from everybody. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's just what I love to do. And I'm such an extrovert. So for me, it's like, okay, it's fine to just do that for a little bit, and there shouldn't be any shame around it or any guilt or anything with it, because it's just what I want to do and what I like to do. And Tala said, I know a lot of people that need alone time. Yeah, yesterday it was funny because I have always loved hanging around with people, and I still do now. I really do love social gatherings, hanging out with friends, meeting new people. And yesterday I was reflecting on this, how I want and I need and I love to hang out by myself, and how I need it at least like once a week. And I was thinking, like, if I would have told that to my 16-year-old self or even my 21-year-old self, I would have thought I'd be crazy. Like, what? But yeah, so that's something that I learned more about myself, or that I felt super in my gut, yesterday. And I also feel like everybody needs alone time from time to time. I think we all need that time to reconnect with ourselves, to recharge, to going back to that question, like asking ourselves, what is it that we want? And this question became really big when I went abroad, and it guided me through a lot of my travels and through social gatherings and teaching jobs and just other opportunities and stuff. And it kind of drifted away a little bit as I came back, but it's still something that I ponder on again, time and time again, because it is a very important question to ask ourselves. And even if it's just being aware of the answer or listening to what our gut or our heart says, like, that's enough. And then we can work on taking the steps to making it happen. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know, because I want to get into like saying yes and saying no. Hey! So pondering on this question of when was the last time you asked yourself what you want or what you want to do. So getting into this yes and no, right? Like telling people or expressing your yes and your no's. And again, something that I've been pondering, something that, I've been working on more as well, is asking myself what I want to do and being okay with saying yes and saying no. And when I was younger, when I was younger, I struggled with saying no a lot. And my struggle was because I wanted to say yes, because I wanted to show people that I was kind. I wanted to save face. I wanted to show people that I wanted to be there for them. I was afraid of like missing out. What else? I wanted to be included. So even when my gut or when my heart wanted to say no, like I still said yes. And something that I wanted to point out is that when we say yes and when we really want to say no, we take that energy with us. The energy of resistance, the energy of maybe resentment, the energy of just not wanting to be there, not wanting to do it, or sometimes we can get frustrated or whatever energy that comes with wanting to say no but saying yes. And we create turmoil within ourselves because we're trying to keep the peace and we're trying to be nice or show that we're kind on the external part of our lives. And something that I've been learning, and something that I'm obviously like still practicing, of course, is that it's so much kinder, and I think my best friend Carla has said this too, it's so much kinder to say no, because we don't bring any of that energy with us. And when we say no, like, it might be uncomfortable a little bit at first externally, but there will be such lasting peace within ourselves. Hey, Tala, you remind me so much of myself with the yes and no. We're all learning, huh? We're learning how to say yes and no, being in those spaces. I'm still learning this myself. Aw. Heart. I was gonna send you a heart, but it's gonna take more time. But heart. Yeah, it's a lesson, right? And it's still something that I'm learning. Even now, like being at home with my parents and wanting to say yes and wanting to be there for them. And it's been practice to kind of step back and remind myself and ask myself this question again, like, what is it that I want to do? Because if I say yes, I'm going to bring all this energy with me, and it's not going to be a genuine yes with love and with compassion and being fully present. It might be this irritation, frustration, snappy energy. So I've been learning to just say no. And yeah, like I shared it, I've been learning to just say no. So yeah, yesterday I took the time to just chill, be by myself, journal, reflect, and it felt so good. So just wanted to remind you guys of this question again, like when asking yourself, like, what is it that you want to do? And it's so interesting too, because this last week or so, I've been asked what depression means and in my own perspective of it. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit. So I've been asked from my loved ones what depression means and my perspective on it. And again, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist, but I have been in those spaces. And my loved ones were sharing what's been going on with them and how they've been feeling depressed. And it's interesting being on this outside perspective of listening and hearing them out, and how being in that space is also caused by not asking ourselves what we want to do and not taking initiative on it. And again, it goes back to that space of because we want to save face, or we want to be kind, or we think that there's a right or wrong choice, and we are thinking about it, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right choice. And it can be so many factors, but from my own experience as well, being in that space, what led me to be in that space was forgetting my own needs and my own wants and putting everybody else first. And I've been hearing and listening and being observant, and also from experience, how sometimes it feels like the choice is very hard to make, to choose ourselves. It feels that it's not even possible, and it feels like we're gonna break bridges with our loved ones, and it feels like we're gonna choose the wrong thing, and we're so afraid. But the way that I've been in that space before, it's like this spiral of just in my thoughts and in the loops, and the more I'm in it, the deeper and deeper and darker it gets. And again, I'm just speaking from my own experience of being in that space, and I feel like I've been in it twice, so I'm speaking from that experience. And yeah, it just feels like there's no room to make a choice for ourselves. And yeah, I wanted to point out, like, it is hard, you know, like, we've grown up in this world where we have to put everybody else first, and we have to make sure that everybody else is okay and that their needs are met or their wants are met. And we forget about ourselves. We forget about what we want to do and what we desire and what we want or what we need. And that creates frustration. It creates us being snappy. It creates anxiety. It can create depression. So again, from experience, but I really wanted to point that out. And going back to that question, like, what is it that you want to do? And even if it's not something that you do right away, just being aware of the answer and making space for the question. That's all it takes. Just making space for the question can create such a ripple effect. It's a small opening that can create such a ripple effect in your life. And I really wanted to share this because even this week it was brought back again. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. So another question that could be asked, like I'm asking the question, I'm talking, I'm asking the question. So another thing that could be brought up too is like, how do we even begin, right? Like to find what we want to do, or how can we find that little joy or that little bliss or maybe an activity that can make us feel connected and aligned. And my suggestion is first, like getting out your journal or a piece of paper and just writing down what is it that I want to do, and letting whatever you feel like just guide you, just letting your hand take over and just writing. And before that, just go in with the intention that this paper or this journal entry is just for you, nobody else. You don't have to show it to anybody else. You don't have to share it. And write that question down and just see what comes out from your writing. And it can be through prayer or through meditation. And again, just creating that tiny space to simply ask and hear what your heart or what your gut is saying. And even in that space of trying to do things that are more joyful or that bring more bliss or happiness or peace, a question that I would ask you guys is, what is it that you wanted to do when you were a kid? Or what is it that brought you into play, I guess, when you were a kid? And just ponder on that for a little bit. For me, it was a lot of just being outdoors. And I think that's another reason why I love hiking, because it connects to my inner child. Another thing I remember as a kid was also sketching, and that's something that I started doing again this past year. And it just connects you, it grounds you, it gives you peace, it gives you joy for that moment in time when you're so busy with life, whether it's like your family, work, it's just that moment in time of peace or bliss or connection. I love swinging. Ooh, have you been doing it lately? Like the dancing, right? You also love baking, right? Which I think we still have to try some of those vegan cookies or vegan cakes. Yeah, so it could be a range of things. Dance classes, guitar classes, painting classes, yeah. No, swings at a park. Oh, I thought you meant dancing. Oh, that's nice. You're never too old for that. We are never too old for that. Actually, my friend Matt, when I was living in Vietnam, we had hung out one evening, and he was sharing with me that earlier that day, he is in his, I want to say mid-30s, like late 30s, early 40s, I think. And we hung out that evening, and he was sharing with me that earlier that day, he was riding his bike, and he saw a park, and that he saw swings. And he had such a desire to go play in the swings for a little bit. And he said he kept riding around the park, and at some point he was just like, fuck it. So he ended up parking his bike, his motorbike, and he was swinging at the park. And he said that it was so much fun. So, and I just thought that was so awesome. That was like the inner kid in himself wanting to play. Tala, I can't dance. Oh, I bet you can. Maybe when we hang out, we can like move a little bit. Tala, are you excited about tonight? Guiding tonight? I'm not sure if I can make it just yet, but I'll show up even if my video and my audio is off. But I'm sending you love and good vibes for tonight. Carla and I will show you. I was teaching my niece the other day how to twerk a little bit. And she gets so embarrassed. So I think for me it's more of that, like, how can I embarrass her? Yes, I'm so excited. Sweet! I'm excited too. I'm excited to hear your theme. If you don't want to share, that's totally okay. But yeah, so reminder for today is just asking yourself, creating space for yourself, and asking yourself, like, what is it that I want to do? And like, what else did I want to share from this? And that's basically, okay, so I do notes for my tea times. And something that I do is like I meditate before my tea times for like 30 minutes. Or I meditate the night before for like just guidance and clarity on what to share the next day. And then I'll meditate before, and I'll write notes here and there. And I won't, because some of my patterns actually when I was in college was like stick to the plan, stick to the structure. And over the last couple of years, I've been letting go of like structure and the way things are supposed to go and just going with the flow of things. So I write notes down and just give it to the universe, like whatever comes, whatever arises from the conversations live. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, reach out. And thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I know I've had messages where my loved ones, like, they watched later, and I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. Thank you. Hey, Zach. Question. Oh, ask away. I was about to end it. So ask away. So yeah, the theme for today was asking ourselves, what is it that we want to do, and creating space for it. Oh, opinions on ayahuasca. Have you tried it? I have not tried it, but yes, I want to try it. And my friend Carla and I were actually looking into places to go do ayahuasca at the end of the year. My opinions on ayahuasca. So this is what I think about ayahuasca, and this is my intention with like trying it for inner work, for my own spiritual work, and to show me where I'm at with, again, my work. And by work I mean with like my relationships, or my relationship with myself, my beliefs, my fears. And also, like, I know you don't need it to get connected to the universe or to get connected to God, but I also would love to try it to get connected to the universe for guidance and just to being open to what the universe has to show me. So again, for me, ayahuasca, and I've been somewhat open about me trying acid and mushrooms and how I use that as a spiritual tool. Are you thinking about trying it, Zach? And I know we've talked about it a little bit here and there. So from what I read, it sounds like it helps a lot with understanding yourself. Yeah, that's one of the intentions on why I would try it. Just like, again, acid and mushrooms. And I've had those experiences with these psychedelics where it has shown me my own work, like my own judgments, or where I'm clinging, or my attachments, and where I have to let go to be more of myself, or to connect more with myself, or to the universe, God. Seems like it's more beneficial than acid or shrooms. Yeah, I agree. I think that ayahuasca is a little bit, maybe not a little bit, a lot stronger. And I know with ayahuasca, I would want to be guided. With acid or shrooms, I could do with friends or on my own. But with ayahuasca, I would want to be guided, and to be in a very intentional space externally, because I heard that it can get super deep. Like, I've heard stories where people throw up, or they get in that space of fear and of their own stuff, and it's really good to have guidance to guide you through that. Seems like, from what I read on Reddit thread, do you know how long it lasts? I'd be scared of being stuck for hours. I don't know, actually. I want to say it lasts maybe like 3 or 4 hours. I'm not entirely sure, though. but I know it does last a couple hours. But you know what? A reminder, it's not forever. So I've been wanting to also try DMT, and I heard DMT is really, really intense, and it could feel like it's forever. But something that I keep reminding myself, even with wanting to try ayahuasca, is that it's not forever. That it's okay, it's gonna pass eventually. But if you try it, yeah, right? Yeah. That's a good affirmation. That's a really good affirmation for trying psychedelics. But yeah, if you try it, I'll send you information. We actually found, one of my friends, he went to San Francisco a couple months ago, and let's do it, girl. That's funny. I'm getting reminded when we were in India, and I was like, where can we find it? Zach said, I'm just scared of what it would show me with past traumas and stuff I've blocked out. This is where the guidance comes in, where somebody who's either has done it or someone who's experienced in working in that space could help you, guide you through those past traumas and those blocks. Because sometimes we can do it on our own. Sometimes it is super rough or tough or a lot. So that's why, like, if you want to try ayahuasca or DMT, like, make sure, one, there's guidance. And again, I'm not an expert. This is just my own opinion and what I would do or what I want to do. Like, making sure you find a place that's intentional and where they have people who are experienced in working in these spaces with people. I had a friend, he went to San Francisco. I'll send it to you, Zach. He went to this temple in San Francisco a couple months ago, and he tried ayahuasca for the first time. And he didn't have any deep, experiences, but he had guidance, and he said it felt really good. Yeah, everyone I've read said they had a shaman or some kind of guide. Yeah. Totally, suggest that. And yes, such good memories, by the way. The Way Ward Bong. Such good memories, sweet memories. I actually talked to Rathan a couple of days ago. We did like a Zoom call. But yeah, if we ever get together, we'll find it, right? Hey! How are you? How's Vietnam? I hope you're doing well. How is Vietnam? You're still there, right? Zach, do you have any clue what the cost would be for the experience? So we were looking up this temple, right, in San Francisco, and it was $500. And the events actually just passed. They had 2 of them. I think it was July, and it already passed, but the fee was $500. But Zach, Carla and I, we're gonna do research on it. If I find anything, or when I find anything, like, I'll send it to you too. But yeah, we thought that was super cheap. We've heard Costa Rica does a lot of these retreats, like ayahuasca retreats. So we're gonna look into that, maybe to do this the end of the year. But we've been called, or I feel like we've been called to try this. Zach, please do things. You're welcome. Much love. But yeah, so again, my own opinions, my own experience with it, and what I'm in the process of researching right now. You know, also, like, another thing with that too is, like, being aware of where you're at. Like, you're aware that you have these traumas and these blocks, so that already helps a lot. We're in lockdown still. The last outbreak was tough, difficult time, but I bet we will overcome the situation. And yes, I'm still in Hanoi. Oh, hell yeah. I was thinking about and missing Vietnam a lot, actually, on Monday, or this week. And just being in that space with everybody else and the traveling feels. But I don't want to say best of luck, but I have hope in Vietnam. I've been hearing stories how it's been rough and getting more tough. I've been seeing a lot of people leaving Vietnam too. And some people who are in the kind of in the space of like, should I leave? Should I go? Like, how long more should I wait it out? But yeah, wishing you the best of, I don't want to say best of luck, but I'm wishing you good vibes. Okay, so I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys for joining. Much, much love. If you guys have any questions, even about psychedelics or anything like that, reach out. Yeah, and I'll share what I know and my experience of it and some of my teachers. So, okay. So much, much love, guys. Thank you again for joining. Bye.